Okay, so meet Jeff. Jeff is an AI, and his whole job is to coach truck drivers to be safer out there on the road. He can chat with them about speeding, about harsh braking, you name it, he can handle it. But, and this is the cool part, Jeff is also smart enough to know when not to talk. He knows when a conversation has gotten too serious and it's time to bring in a human. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how he makes that critical call.
Because let's be real, some things just shouldn't be handled by an AI, right? I mean, just imagine a driver admitting they've had a few drinks, or they're so fired up about some other car that they're talking about, well, getting even. These are conversations with some serious, real world consequences. This is exactly where an AI has to know its limits.
So, that really brings us to the central question, doesn't it? How do you build an AI that can cruise through thousands of totally normal coaching sessions, but then reliably and without fail spot that one conversation that absolutely positively needs a human to step in? Well, the solution, as you're about to see, is actually pretty elegant. Well, the key is to design for that critical limit right from the get-go. You have to build a system that starts with the assumption that the AI is not perfect, You build a safety net around it, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into right now. And here it is. The answer is this three-tiered safety system. You can kind of think of it like having three different nets stacked on top of each other, and each one is designed to catch a specific kind of problem. We're going to walk through each one. First, the data, then the conversation itself, and finally, what might be the most important piece of the whole puzzle, the failsafe. All right, let's jump in with tier one, the data. Now, what's so interesting about this first layer is that a coaching session can get flagged for a human supervisor before the AI even says a single word. Yeah, before it even says hello. It all starts just by looking at the raw numbers from a driver's shift. And this is where these automatic data-driven triggers come into play. So let's say a driver has, 5 or more safety events in a single shift. Or they hit a speed that's 15 plus miles per hour over the limit. Or maybe they have a couple of really gnarly incidents back to back. Bam. The system automatically flags it. The data itself is telling a story, one that says, hey, a human needs to take a look at this. Okay, so that first net is great for catching the really obvious patterns in the data. But what about the stuff that's more subtle, the situations that you'd only ever uncover in an actual conversation? Well, that's where tier 2 comes in, analyzing the conversation as it's happening in real time. So get this, every single time the driver says something, the AI model is listening in. And it's not just, understanding the words for the sake of conversation. Nope. It's actively cross-referencing that response against a very specific list of 7 safety-critical flags. And these are those 7 flags. The AI is constantly on the lookout for stuff like aggressive driving, road rage, or any hint of impairment, whether that's from alcohol or just being dangerously tired. It's also listening for anyone admitting they're breaking rules on purpose, or someone getting really hostile about the coaching. Even things like reporting a serious vehicle defect. And, of course, the obvious one, if they just straight up ask to talk to a supervisor. That's an immediate flag, too. So after the AI analyzes what the driver just said, it basically bundles up its findings. You can think of it like it's creating a little report card, checking off which of those 7 flags, if any, got triggered. Then it makes a recommendation. Something like, hey, based on this, I think you should probably escalate to a human, or, nah, I think we're good to keep going. But, and this is key, its recommendation is not the final word. And that brings us to our third, and honestly, most critical tier, the ultimate safety net, the one that catches everything else. It's all built on one simple but incredibly powerful idea. You never, ever fully trust the AI to make the final call when it comes to safety. I mean, this quote from the person who actually designed the system really says it all. Even when you've got a super sophisticated AI model, you just can't leave something this important up to chance. There has to be a hard-coded, absolutely non-negotiable rule that guarantees a human is in the loop. Okay, now this is where the genius of this whole system really shines. Check this out. The AI model, it advises, it just gives its opinion. But it's the server that actually decides. So think about it. If a driver mentions they're feeling drowsy, and that impairment flag gets ticked, the server forces an escalation to a human, period. It doesn't matter if the AI model somehow missed it or even recommended not to escalate. If any of those 7 flags is raised, the server steps in and overrides everything. It is a truly brilliant failsafe. So what happens when that failsafe kicks in?
Well, the conversation gets immediately sent to something called the action queue. And no, this isn't just some email inbox where it's going to sit for a few hours. This is a prioritized, top-of-the-list item right on a supervisor's dashboard, making sure the most urgent issues get seen, like right now.
And the supervisor gets literally everything they need to act, and act fast. They get the full conversation transcript, they see exactly which of the 7 flags were triggered, they get all the relevant driving data from that shift, and they even get a quick little summary generated by the AI. There's zero guesswork involved. They have the complete picture instantly.
So, okay, we've just walked through how this really clever 3-tiered system works. But let's pull back for a second. Why go to all this trouble? I mean, why is this kind of responsible AI design so incredibly important?
Well, the bottom line is this. It all comes down to liability. Think about it. If a driver tells an AI that they're impaired, and for whatever reason the system misses it, that's not just a coaching opportunity that was lost. That is a massive legal and safety exposure for the entire company. This system is built from the ground up to make sure that kind of thing can never, ever happen. And all of this really leaves us with a much bigger question, doesn't it? I mean, this system is a fantastic blueprint for solving this one very specific problem, but the principle behind it, that's universal. As we keep giving AI more and more responsibility, the real question is, where do we draw those hard, non-negotiable lines that say, nope, from this point on, a human has to be involved? That's the question I think we all need to be asking.